Hi, welcome to Curtain Call. I'm Hedy Weiss, theater and dance critic for the Chicago Sun-Times, and today I am absolutely delighted to have two of my favorite actors in Chicago. John Mahoney, who really needs no introduction, but everybody knows him from Frasier, as well as a long career on the Chicago stage, and Penny Slusher, who also has appeared in many, many theaters in Chicago. So welcome.
Thank you.
We're on the set of Chapatti, a world premiere by Christian O'Reilly, an Irish playwright. We're at Northlight Theatre in Skokie. Yeah. So, Penny, tell me a little bit, like a thumbnail sketch about what this play is really about.
Well, I think it's about two people who are trying to make their way in the world. They're somewhat lonely individuals in their own way, and when they meet, they start to sort of rediscover what it is to be alive, and to be a participant in life.
Mm-hmm. So, is there something about Irish writing that's different for the two of you, and that's maybe more actable?
I just find it so actable, so speakable. And yet it's not. You know, if you actually look at it and look at some of the things that people say, they're not everyday things that people say. They are very highly poetic, and yet they're said in an everyday manner and in an everyday situation, and it almost makes it seem like that's the way people talk all the time. And you forget about that heightening of the language that's just a natural thing, I think, with Irish people. Don't know why. You know, they always say the difference between the Irish and the English is that the English hoard their words like misers, and the Irish spend them like drunks.
Wow.
You know, and I think that's a perfect
great
saying. You know, I think that's
great.
perfect.
So this play is a two-hander, meaning just two actors. Have you both done those before?
I have never done a two-hander. I've done three-handers. But never did.
Yeah.
Okay, John?
No, I've never done a two-hander before. It's
So what are you discovering?
well, first of all, the immense amount that you have to memorize, because it's not like split up between among a cast of 10. It's just the two of you, and this is very interesting too, because they're played by two people, but there are a lot of people in this play. Like when I'm sitting in the vets with my dog, I talk about a guy who comes in with his pet rabbit, and I ask him a question, and then I have to answer him, and he's
So you play a lot of characters.
Yes, you play a lot of different characters, not huge, and not but just enough to really make it interesting, and the same with Penny, Peggy, who she works for, she plays also, and to listen to the two of them talking is fascinating. She does.
Yeah, it's interesting to try to create a dynamic between yourself and an invisible person.
Yeah.
And you've both been to Ireland in different plays. Tell me a little bit about working in front of an Irish audience, and maybe what the differences and similarities are from a Chicago audience.
Well, I know that we received a lovely, warm, embracing welcome from the Irish audience there when we did Stella and Lou.
So that was at the Galway Arts Festival, where you're taking this play in July.
Exactly, yes. And they're lively, and they're vocal, and they're very like the American audiences in their reactions. I would say maybe they're a little more vocal afterward. When you see them on the street.
Oh, I see. So they come up to you and talk.
A little more.
Yeah.
I was talking to Tom Murphy, the playwright, of course, and after he came to see Long Day's Journey, and I said, Tom, it was incredible. I said, I didn't hear any candy wrappers, I didn't hear any coughs, I didn't hear anything. And he said, John, what's up there is sacred to us. That is sacred. And I thought, wow, how great is that? Instead of reading about some guy saying, I became an actor because that's where all the cute girls were.
Right,
It's because it's
religion.
It's religion, yeah, really. And I love the Irish audiences too. They're so attentive. They get everything. You rarely get. I did get one cell phone, of course.
Oh, well.
Horrible. Yeah. And it was like a Mozart rondo. You just wanted to kill somebody.
No.
But the thing is,
did you just stop?
You know what happened? I had to, but what happened was the people around that person, they attacked him.
It was a lynching.
They said, turn that thing off. And then the guy said, I'm sorry. He was trying to turn it off.
Oh, and then, it makes it worse.
So it made it twice as bad. But
it was
fun.
Funny.
In retrospect, it was fun.
So tell me a little bit about, 11 seasons on Frasier, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Were there some habits that you had to unlearn when you came back to the stage?
Isn't that interesting? Well, what I had to do obviously was be a lot bigger and a lot more energy. What you can
in the
do
theater.
In the theater, yeah. I mean, you can get away with a lot on television or in films. You know, you can just say something, then raise an eyebrow and deny everything. You can be so subtle on that, but what you can't really afford to be in the theater, because you've got all these people that got to know what you're saying. They paid a lot of money. You know, you've got to be loud. You've got to be, you know, you've got to really put it out there. And so when I came back to the theater sort of full time, which I have been now for a few years, I did. I had to learn how to project again. Just a lot of technical things. I had to learn all over again.
Penny, have you done films?
I have done a small amount, yes, individual or indie films and that sort of thing.
Do you enjoy the theater more?
Oh, I definitely enjoy it more. Film is very, 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 very technical, and you know it takes some getting used to having a camera right here while you're trying to be dramatic. Yes.
Yeah.
And then there's the sound of the audience, which
that's so great. You just, you know, when you do a play, I mean, I've always much preferred to do plays over anything else, but I also love to own a car and a house, you know. So,
yeah, TV helps with that, right? Yeah.
The theater doesn't help with that. But I love the interplay between the actors and the audience. You know, you do a film or television, and the guys, they've seen it all. They're standing there eating their pizza, picking their nose. They don't care. But an audience, you've got this audience feeding you all this energy, and you're putting it out, and it's just the reciprocity of it is just. There's no feeling like it,
yeah.
really.
And with this production, this particular play, having the audience, they're a third character for us. We need them as much as they need us.
Yeah.
And it's a very intimate theater, and
Yes.
you really feel.
And we actually talk to the audience here too, which is very unusual.
So you address
I mean, the first thing I do when I come out is say, you know,
you go right to the front of the stage.
Yeah. Okay. And that takes a little getting used to, you know. People think that actors are show-offs and they like to be the center of attention all the time. It's not true, Hedy.
Some actors are the shyest people.
I'm sure they are. They're the shyest people in the world, and so it's hard to just get out there and do that, especially if you have to be yourself. It's difficult.
As a scene partner and a fellow actor, what's the best thing about working with John Mahoney?
Oh, good heavens.
I know that's embarrassing.
Let's see. Well, you know, John
the looks.
Well, I've always told him ever since I saw him in Moonstruck. But I mean, he's so generous and on stage and off, and just the nicest person. But you know, in a scene, there has to be an emotional connection, and John gives you that, and gives it to you in spades. You know, he's just there for you in every way that he can be. So what's not to like, you know?
Okay, so I'm going to that same question to you.
Well, with Penny, the reason that when we decided to do the play, and BJ said, "Have you any ideas, you know, for Betty?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "I hope you consider Penny Slusher." I would never demand it or anything like that. That's not my style. But certainly, you know, recommend who I'd like to work with. And the reason is because I had worked with her, and I know she is so honest. There's nothing that she does that's false. There's nothing that she does to just get attention. She is so into the part and so honest that it just makes it so easy for me to work with.
She's blushing.
I am. Thank you. Thank you, John.
John Mahoney, Penny Slusher, thank you very
Hedy.
much. And thank you for tuning into Curtain Call.